Football Unknown.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a new episode of the Football Unknown podcast. This is episode 47, and today we have a special guest coming all the way from Hungary. Wasn't born there, but we're going to get into it. So guest, before we start the podcast off, would you like to introduce yourself for everybody?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Marlo Sweatman. I'm a professional soccer player. I played for Jamaica as well as 6 years overseas in Europe.
Oh, wow. So we're going to get to all of that. But before we start, we normally have this initial question that we ask every guest. And I call it the famous football unknown question, which is, can you recall the first time that you fell in love with the game of soccer?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And what's that memory like, if you could recall that?
I think the first time I really fell in love with soccer was when I went to Jamaica on vacation. I was really little, and my parents were checking into the hotel, and I just immediately ran on the beach and started playing with some strangers.
Okay.
So,
How old were you at that time?
I think I was 6.
Oh, so you were 6.
Yeah, super young.
So both of your parents are from Jamaica?
Just my mom.
Oh, just your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to Jamaica when you were 6, and then that's where you fell in love with the game.
Yeah.
When did you start playing? Like when did you decide, hey, I wanna go and play the sport?
Probably around that time. I mean, when I was younger, 4 or 5, I was just kicking the ball around, but definitely 6 to 10, that age group, got into it.
Okay. And was there any other sports that had your heart as well, or it was mainly just soccer at that time?
At that time, definitely just soccer.
Okay. So what was the first club that you played for?
I played for Herndon. I was in Virginia, so I grew up in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
When I was there, I played for Herndon, Chantilly, and then some other well-known places like Bethesda in Maryland. They were a pretty good club. McLean. Played for a lot of teams up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you hopped on your first club, first time playing, was it like a competitive travel soccer?
Yeah.
Type?
Yeah. So I always played competitive
Okay.
travel.
And how was that experience? Hopping on a competitive team for the first time. How was that experience for you?
I think it's just I didn't even think about it, to be honest. I probably just really loved the game, and it just kind of was for me, for fun. And then as you get older into high school, starting college is starting to recruit you, then you really start realizing this is real.
Yep.
This is really competitive, and you can have a future in it.
And what were some things that you learned, first playing, was there, your controls, your passing, and just the tactics of the game, anything like that? When you first started?
Yeah.
That stuck out with you?
Probably just a lot of things that a lot of coaches kind of, focus on: the first touch, awareness, speed of play, that stuff. And if I look back, I really remember a lot of the trainings of one-on-one with the keepers, attacking and, either, shooting early or taking a touch to beat out the keeper. So those little things that have always stuck with me.
What position were you playing at that time?
I was a striker.
Just striker?
Yeah.
Okay. And so how old were you when you first started playing?
So I was probably around, like I said, 6 or so. And then when I got competitive, we're looking at 13.
Oh, 13.
Yeah.
Okay. And 13, what grade would you be when you're in 13?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Is it 5th or 6th grade?
Yeah,
maybe?
5th or 6th. Probably
Yeah.
5th or 6th.
Yeah.
And then, so when you hopped into high school now.
Yeah.
So you played high school ball?
Yes, I played high school as well as club. So
okay.
those were when I would be having training at high school from 2 to 4 and then going over to training after that, which is I think 5 to 7.
Okay.
So yeah.
How were you balancing both school and soccer at that time? Because right after school, you're going, getting ready to go back to club practice. How was that? How was balancing all of that?
Yeah, I think I would have in common with a lot of other athletes at that time, you just kind of care about the sport. Obviously, you have to go to school, and your parents are definitely making you do the homework, but it's okay, when's training starting? And it's oh, I forgot to do my homework, but it's no problem. So at that point, school wasn't that important to me. I was really just so about soccer, which is interesting because now that's totally, not totally changed, but it's definitely changed a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
At that time when you were playing high school, were you already forming the mindset of I want to go further, I want to go pro, I want to go to college? When did that mindset begin to shift?
I definitely had the mindset, and I think that started really young because my dad tells me a lot of stories that, like, sometimes I'd want to quit, and my dad said one time when I was really, really little, I told him I wanted to be a professional player, and ever since then, he, like, was never let me quit, even through all the hard times. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was always my dream and goal to be a pro player.
Mm-hmm. What were some reasons why you were having some difficulties, and then, you also wanted to quit at times? Like, what were some of the reasons?
I think just, like, similar to a lot of players is you you miss out a lot on what the normal kid has the experience. That's, I missed my prom, I missed my sister's doctor graduation, I missed every single like family vacation. And when you're little, it's like you don't really understand it. So I remember one time I was sitting in like a hotel room and we had to leave early for my tournament, but my whole family like stayed for vacation. I was like, well, I want to stay too, and then when you get older, you kind of realize how important those little sacrifices were.
Absolutely.
But when you're a kid, you just want to enjoy it. So moments like that, but I'm really thankful that my dad was there and he was like, nope, like, you put your mind to it, you said what you wanted as a goal, and I'm going to stick with you and, get you there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what are some other things that you did to really, push yourself through those difficult moments? Were there anything other things you did?
I think it was just one of those like in the moment kind of feelings, and then as soon as I got the practice of the game, it just went away. I was like, like I love this sport, so.
And then it was throughout your entirety of high school, you were going through that?
No, definitely not. I mean, these were just like little every once in a while type things. Yeah, for the most part, it was always my goal. Always loved soccer. It was like once a year had that thought or something. Some other difficulties would probably just be, like hard trainings and stuff as far as high school. Time consuming and things like that. But ever since I was little, I had the mindset to go pro, and so.
How was your high school? Like, what was the competition like soccer wise?
I went to a private high school in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So I would say like the public schools had more of a competitive league, and the private schools not as much. But that was also good for me because I was always a leader. So I played in one of the best clubs in the state. And then when I would go to high school, I was able to use my skills that I had, to be a captain on the team in the young age and stuff. So I would say like for me, club was used more to develop my on the field skills, and then high school I was able to develop my leadership skills.
So what are some on the field skills that you developed playing club that you like to share with us?
The tactical and technical side of the game, first touch, long passes, that type of stuff, and then just reading the game, knowing where I'm going to go before I get the ball, things like that. So.
And all throughout you played the same position?
No, so I started as a striker.
Okay.
When I went to college, I went to a holding midfielder.
Oh,
which
that's a big,
interesting. Yeah,
that's a big shift.
Yeah, and then stayed throughout that as well when I played Jamaica, and now I'm at attacking mid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they put me in there at center back every once in a while. So
wow,
it's interesting,
so
but
very diverse.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you decide that it's time to go to college?
That was my junior year, end of my sophomore junior year of high school.
Okay.
My club coach sat us down and he said, you guys need to start making a list of what you want about your future. Do you want to play in college? If you do want to play in college, what do you want from the college system? He made it very clear that education was important. But then again, for me, my first thing on my mind was I want to play the best college I can. About the end of sophomore, junior year.
What were some schools that you had in mind that, I want to go to these schools?
Maryland was big, Florida Gators, FSU, Boston, kind of on the East Coast side.
Yep.
Yeah, a few in Texas. There was actually a lot of offers, so I was very thankful for that. Yeah.
Wow, which club were you playing for?
McLean.
Oh, club.
Yeah, so they were ECNL. They
Yep.
were very well known. A lot of national championships. And then I played in the USL Summer League with Washington Spirit.
Yep. Wow.
Which, that helped me a lot.
And that's before you went to go play college?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then I was in the U18 national US pool.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
then we have some things to talk about before we talk about college then. But first, talk to me about some of the leadership skills that you developed when you were playing high school. Like how did that begin to form, like some of your leadership skills?
Yeah, I think like at that age when you're in high school, a leader is kind of seen like on the field as well as off the field, but your responsibilities are like leading the warm up, doing the coin toss,
Absolutely.
Figuring out who's going to travel on the bus, stuff like that. So
really? Okay.
Not really as much as like the team aspect, but more the responsibilities that are just like given to you. Whereas then when you're a captain, I feel like for a national team or on the pro side, you start to see the off the field problems. You got to like navigate those. You got to kind of help the coach out. You're more in contact with that. So it's more of a pressure, you get more responsibility, I feel like. So I was just kind of doing like the beginning stages, as you know.
And would you say that really helped you later on in your career?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the big thing I think about is don't ever forget the basics. whether that's like, technical, tactical side of the game, or even just like, like making friends within the team and, having that personal side of the relationships with players. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So, okay, so you said you got called up for, like, you were in the national camp pool.
Yeah.
Was that for the Jamaican team? Was that for the U.S. national team? Like, how did that go?
So that was at that time it was the U18 U.S. national
US.
pool.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that we went over to, I believe it was California.
Mhm.
We had a national team camp there, and obviously, like, you can't switch sides when you step on the field for the full team.
Mhm.
But I had been in camp with the Jamaica youth, and then the U.S. youth kind of wanted to take a look at me.
Okay.
So that was between when I was like 18, around that age.
Okay. So you were going to both camps?
I think how it went is I did a little bit with Jamaica,
Mhm.
and then the kind of like put a little spotlight on me,
Mhm.
and then I think the U.S. kind of wanted to check me out.
Mhm.
At the time, I was also like doing really well in tournaments and getting recruited. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's walk through that then. How did Jamaica first like get in contact with you? And can you recall like how that went?
I got in contact with them actually. Yeah, because at that time they didn't have many players coming from abroad playing. They just kind of had the local players and stuff. So my dad actually reached out to the coach, and then he was like, so I have a daughter, her mom is Jamaican and my dad is American, so I obviously can play for both. He reached out to the Jamaica coach, and they got my passport sorted, and they're like, you know what, come down for a camp, let's see how it goes.
Mhm.
And then when I got down there, like, it was an amazing time. It was definitely different, like, at first, but it was an amazing time, and from there it just kind of kept going to some camps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how was it like your first time? So did you go with your dad or your
I
mom?
went with my mom.
You went with your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went with your mom. How was it, like going there, with the feeling of going there for like a national camp?
Yeah.
Like what were some things that was going through your mind at that time?
I was really nervous just because I didn't know the level. And I also didn't know anybody. I didn't know what to expect.
Yep. Could you understand like the pot?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I had that down, but it's interesting as a footballer. Like when you go to new places, you don't just have to worry about like how am I going to perform, but you also kind of have the nerves of meeting new people,
Okay, yep.
and what's the coach going to be like? What's the whole new culture going to be like? That was besides the vacation part of
Absolutely.
when I went down. Like that's a whole new culture.
And like you have to adapt to a whole new environment as well,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So how was it, like trying to blend in with the team? How did that go for you?
They
First time.
brought me in really well.
Oh, yeah.
They loved me,
Yep.
which I'm really thankful for, and I
Yep.
still have friends today from that group.
Wow.
So that was a blessing because you can have those times where you just kind of stand off to the side and no one talks to you, but they definitely like embraced me with open
Yep.
arms. So
Yep. And how was like the structure of going out to practice and like what was different? What was different that it kind of stood out to you?
it was like obviously when was that? So I'm now 29. That was probably like 10, 11 years ago. So the whole Jamaican Federation was it's much different than it is today.
Yeah.
They struggled to get water. We were living in when we went to camp, we lived in one house. It was like a whole different environment, especially for me coming from America and when I'm playing in the top clubs and stuff like that, and top high schools and things like that. So for me to go down there and then just kind of see the whole difference, it opened my eyes, made me very thankful for like what I have, but also like opened my eyes on how can I help them as well. So I was able to just kind of look at it from that perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how was like the game aspect of it, like the playing style that the coaches were trying to mold you guys to play together compared to what you were used to playing with your high school and your club? Like talk to me about those differences.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences. Obviously, like the speed of Jamaicans. Like I went there and just zooming by
yeah,
me. I was like,
yeah.
what's going on? I was like, where's the ball? These people are just running like so fast.
Yep.
Whereas in the States, they were trying to, get us to play more possession and stuff. So the speed of the actual game, I don't know if it was faster, but the speed of the players was much faster.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah. So, one-on-one defending, one-on-one attacking,
Yep.
that was for me like a big eye-opener.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And was it like also a bit more physical too as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Just in the culture, right?
Yeah.
So Jamaican culture. And So, and you were you what position were you playing when you went to that camp?
I probably played. It's a long time ago. I probably played striker,
Playing
but
striker.
yeah.
Okay.
Then I remember they probably put me in the midfield because I was always in the midfield for Jamaica.
Yep. How long did that camp last the first time you went over there?
I think it's just a week,
Just a
couple
week?
days. Yeah.
Okay. And then, did you get any feedback afterwards?
Yeah, they spoke to my parents and they were like, we love her. She had a great time. She fits in well with the team. And then so after that, I went back a few more times after
Okay.
for the U20s and things like that.
Oh, wow. Was it all camps or some like games, some competitions? Like how was that?
We had games as well. We
Okay.
did the U20 World Cup qualifiers, which we missed out on. Unfortunately, didn't qualify. But yeah, it was a lot of games.
How was that experience, traveling for the World Cup qualifiers? Because that has to be big, right? Was that like one of the biggest competitions that you played like at that time?
Yeah, definitely at that time. Obviously, looking back now, the 2019 FIFA World Cup
Yeah,
was,
that-
for me, the biggest.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
at that
You
time, at that
that-
age, it was huge.
So what were some teams what were the teams that you guys played against over there?
That was a long time ago. I know we played the States.
Okay.
I think we probably played like Domret, maybe Cuba.
Okay.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
CONCACAF teams.
You were already in college, right? When you went down for that camp.
Yeah, because that would have been the U20, so I was just going right into college.
Right.
I think I probably was in my freshman year.
Yep.
Or going into it.
And you didn't get any call up for the U.S. camp at that time yet, right? Or
So I'd already been called up.
already called up for the U.S.
Yeah.
camp too.
So
Wow.
before
So-
that.
Yep. So the whole time you're like deciding, which route should I go?
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, it was kind of like clear in the feedback as well, and clear in how I felt within both camps that I'm going to go with Jamaica.
Why?
I just, I wanted to play for my mom's country, and then I also wanted to have impact. And whereas I did well in the camp in the U.S., but if we're going to be honest, I would probably just be another player if they did decide to keep me going with the U.S. side. But as far as Jamaica, I came in and they wanted me to be captain. I was playing 90 minutes, and I know that I was going to have a huge impact, not just in that little 1-2 years, but in the long run.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and for me, that's very important.
Yep.
So,
When did you make that decision that you're gonna go? I'm choosing Jamaica.
yeah, that was definitely, I think, probably before the U20s camp.
Before the U20 camp.
Yeah,
So
that's
how,
right
how
after
did you?
the U.S. camp.
Yep. How did you break the news down to the? So I'm guessing you have to tell the coaches. Like, how did that process go?
Well, when you're in the U18s,
Okay.
like the camp, it's just like a huge pool. I don't know how it is now, but when I was there, it's a huge pool. So they're just calling in players. I was able to be called in, but then I don't really know what the future would have been like after.
Yep.
So
Yep. Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay. So moving into college now, which school did you choose to go to?
So I took my freshman year at Florida State University.
Oh.
Yeah, FSU.
Yeah. a big women's program.
Yeah.
Massive women's.
Yeah, it was huge.
Was it also that big at that time as well?
Oh
or-
yeah, they were the year. So I transferred after my freshman year. Then they won the Natty, the national championship. When
yeah.
I was there, they were in the final for the ACC tournament. So, I mean, it was, yeah, and that was my dream. That's what I wrote down. I was like, I just want to play at the highest level college soccer that I could, and so that was FSU.
Wow, FSU.
Yeah.
So talk to me about moving into FSU, moving into, I would say, a pretty elite level women's program
Yeah.
in the country.
Yeah.
Right. How was it trying to adapt to that?
It was definitely hard just because, and my coach warned me about it, and he warned all of us actually, like, college is a different level. But you don't really get it when you're there.
You don't.
And then so when I stepped in there, and I went in early, so I went in the summer. So normally you kind of go in a little bit later in the summer, but I was like, I'm going to go in before, I'm going to train with the trainers, and I'm going to, do my best.
Absolutely.
And that first training, it was a different level.
Talk to me about that.
They just had us on the track. We were just running.
The
I was
entire
like, yeah.
Entire practice.
So it was the fitness practice.
Okay. Right.
And they just had us running,
Yep.
on the tracks,
Yep.
400s,
Oh my
800s,
Oh my gosh.
Florida heat.
Yep.
So I was like, oh my gosh. But it, and then from there I saw the professionalism, because right after, they hand you protein shakes. They're making you stretch, all these type of things. And that's
Right.
something that kind of, the professionalism was really amazing to see, but also that's also new, because when you play in club, you just show up, you train, you go home. But there you have, that's the bare minimum.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
wow.
That was really, really interesting to see.
Yep.
And then obviously when everybody started coming in for the first week of preseason and stuff, we had, I think we had 2 Iceland national team players. We had a girl from Germany, a girl from France. And I mean,
So
the
it was
level.
very diverse, right?
Oh, yeah.
High levels, but diverse.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone has one goal in mind. That's to be in the starting lineup. That's to win the national championship. And that's to be like the best player.
Interesting.
So, whereas I came in, and I think probably, I mean, every freshman comes in who goes to college, they're the best player on their club team. You go to Florida State, you are now, the rookie. So you're playing against these top players. And I mean, it's just like,
Wow.
it's mentally challenging as well.
Yep. Was it like a very competitive environment, I'm guessing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So how did, like the coach and also you guys like work towards becoming a team? Because, everyone's coming in during preseason from Germany, Iceland, and wherever else, right? And then now you guys have to come and find common ground and work together as a team, right?
Yeah.
So how were you guys able to do that, to be able to perform the way you guys were performing?
I think just the bottom line was everybody was on the same page. Everyone had the same goal in mind. And that's something that I really saw as well in 2018 when we were qualified for the 2019 Women's World Cup with Jamaica. Just everyone on that roster had the same goal in mind. And I mean, just being in programs like that, being able to see it, I'll be able to tell like when I step into a team, like if this is going to be successful or not. Because I've seen like what it takes. And so that's really interesting to see. So, I mean, to answer your question, just everyone having the same mindset.
Absolutely. And looking back, right, when you first saw like what this team was about, you knew that you guys were, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Okay. So how was, school? Because in like college workload and as a student athlete, it's a bit different, right?
Yeah.
So like how was trying to balance that and, like soccer?
Definitely took some time to like get used to. Because it's like you're coming in as a freshman, my whole life has just been soccer, but then to even be eligible to play, you have to get the grades up.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I mean, you have to focus on both. It took me a little bit of a while to kind of like get into it just because I was so focused on soccer. But then it slowly started to teach me like how important school is. So after a while, I got the hang of it.
Yep.
But I mean, it was just always like soccer comes first for me.
Yep.
But then you have those people that are like,
Exactly.
they're going to tell you like it's not. So.
Your counselors, your advisors, and all of those. Is the campus at FSU big? It's a big campus, right?
Yeah,
so,
Tallahassee.
Yeah, so you have to like get used to the campus as well.
Yeah.
And how was that?
That was interesting. I mean, the freshmen I came in with, it was like amazing that we could be so close as we were, and we kind of were able to like get through it all together.
Yep, it was nice.
And then I mean, like I would assume most college programs, they have the people helping you out. Look, like you said, the academic advisors. You have the assistant coaches who kind of show you around and what they expect from you.
Absolutely.
But I mean, like every change in life, you always have the hard moments of I'm on my own, I got to figure this out type of thing. So
talk to me about the timeline, right? So you went into college. How old were you when you went in and during that freshman year?
18, I believe, yeah.
And then you said you did 1 year at FSU?
Yeah.
And then you left?
Yes.
What was next? Where did you go next?
So I left Florida State, transferred after my freshman year. I went to University of Oregon. So the Ducks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I went all the way to the West Coast.
Yep. Where is the different climate over there?
Yeah, different climate, different everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Why did you transfer from FSU? If you'd like to share that.
I just wanted to get more minutes, and that probably minutes would come, but later on, junior year, senior year.
Yep.
And I, once again, kind of see a little, like similarities throughout my career. I want to be like impactful. I want to be playing. I want to be leading the team. I want to be, setting that. I don't want to just be another player. And so I think that's kind of where I kind of felt it was going to happen. So I decided to go to another amazing program, which was the best 3 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And also a place that I was going to be able to play, grow as a person off the field, on the field, and be able to lead the team. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Moving into Oregon, different climate, different environment, right? It gets very cold over there, right? I'm
Yeah.
guessing?
Yeah.
How is it, just joining a now you have to adapt to a whole different environment, a whole different team.
Yeah.
How was that?
I think it got easier
Okay.
because I've just been doing it so much, like,
Yeah.
playing in the in the States, then playing for Jamaica, then
Yeah.
going into university, and then
Yep.
flying over to Oregon. At this point for me, I was like, okay, traveling and new cultures and new systems, this is just going to be something I'm to adapt to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's now hard for me to stay in one place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's now a part of me,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. So how was the squad in Oregon compared to FSU?
Obviously, like, FSU is ranked higher, so we'll just be honest, there's better talent and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I really enjoyed, like, the type of people that I found at Oregon. I felt like they were more, like, they more kind of had my back. They're more going to
Okay.
help me out,
Yep.
and then I was going to be able to make more of an impact on them.
Yep.
So,
And you
yeah.
were still playing striker at the time, or
No, I was holding mid.
oh, you're holding mid
Yeah.
from that time?
So now I'm holding mid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you also playing holding mid at FSU, or
They had me in the midfield.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get enough. Like, I wasn't able to get enough time on the field for FSU to really have, like, my position.
Yep.
So I was one of those, like, subs that came
Mhm.
on later in the game. Of,
Mhm.
let's just try her here, let's try her there,
Mhm.
type thing.
Now you're playing a whole new position, right? Where striker, you're not really as engaged, with the passings and with the movement and all that
Yeah.
as much as in the middle.
Yeah.
How were you, able to get used to that? Talk to me about the process.
I think it
And
depended.
the holding mid now, it's a defensive position.
Yeah, defensive, which
Mm-hmm.
I think it got cleared up for me when my coach kind of, like, talked to me, like, we need you to set the tone of the game. We
Okay.
need you to this. And then to able to give me that responsibility to kind of change the game, set the tempo, make plays, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it more.
Mm.
So, yeah, the freedom they gave me and kind of the responsibility they gave me,
Right.
yeah, made
And-
me enjoy it.
And that was before you went over to the U20s?
No, so at this point, to be honest, it's hard. It's a hard timeline to go back and
Yep,
remember.
yep.
I think I was already in the full team with Jamaica at this
Oh,
point.
really? At that
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to talk about that. So when you got called up to go to the U20s
Mm-hmm.
World Cup qualifiers.
Yes.
Now you're playing against like other countries, that have you said you play against the US, right?
Yeah.
How was that game? Seeing like did you know anyone from that?
Yeah, so my club, Andy Sullivan.
Okay,
She's
yep,
playing at the Washington Spirit now.
Mhm.
She's still within the U.S. full team.
Yep.
So she was on the youth team of the U.S. at
Oh,
that
really?
time.
At that time?
Yeah, I believe we
Okay.
played against each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
How was that? How was
It was cool. Yeah. I mean, it's always like the soccer world's so small.
Mhm.
So you always run into somebody. And if
Absolutely.
you don't know them, someone knows them. So, I mean, just kind of normal.
Yep.
Nothing, yeah.
And how was it, you guys going as a team, right? Was it the first time you went with the team to play like a tournament, a big tournament, right?
Yeah.
So how was like, just getting used to playing against other countries?
It was fine, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of, like, athletes, you kind of get into the moment where you don't really realize it's that big until you kind of look back or
Absolutely.
before it.
Yep.
So it's just kind of like, if you prepare yourself well, it's just like another game
Mhm.
type thing.
And did that experience really help you, when you went over to Oregon?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
just had the experience behind me, definitely.
Yep.
I think something I see more and more is, like, how important that experience is.
Hmm. What were
So-
some highs and lows throughout your time in Oregon?
Honestly, Oregon just had a lot of highs. I can't really
Really?
think of lows. I mean, besides the weather,
Yep.
but that's something that you can't.
You can't
know,
really change,
yeah.
right?
So, and I'm not gonna, dictate a whole 3 year,
Exactly,
3 years
yeah,
because of the
yeah.
weather. But I mean, I love my coaching staff, my
Yep.
teammates, my roommates, classmates. Everything was awesome. Playing for the Ducks, like, it doesn't get much better than that. Uniform's amazing.
Yep.
So I really loved Oregon. Like, it was,
Wow.
and if I could, give them as much praise as I could, like, I would, because they really made me into the player and actually the person I am,
Mhm.
as far as a leader.
Absolutely.
Kat Mertz and Manny Martins and Katie
Shout 'em out.
Holteen.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, just
absolutely.
that coaching staff for me was,
So,
amazing.
what were some accomplishments that you guys had as like a team throughout your 3 years there?
I remember that we beat our rivals, OSU, the Beavers. For us, that was pretty big. And then we were in the Pac-12. So, I mean, every game was, like a battlefield.
Yeah.
And then for me, that was also, like, different, just the Pac-12 playing against them versus the ACC when I was at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
And then just personally for me, being able to be a captain. So that was really nice, kind of seeing the importance of my presence on and off the field, and the trust that the coaching staff and the other players gave me was really, really nice for me.
You said that you developed a lot as a person when you went over to Oregon.
Yeah.
How?
You just start to like mature, and I guess having that staff behind me helping me mature.
Yep.
Especially coming from what I now don't look at it as unsuccessful at me at FSU, but what I felt at that time that I didn't really succeed, because my goal was to play at the top college I could play at, which would be FSU, and for me to transfer, I kind of felt like I didn't succeed. But having them behind my back and picking me up and putting the responsibility they did made me, change my mindset and kind of, see it at a different angle. So definitely that. And then, I guess the whole leadership side, able to be a captain and learn the whole leadership, but more of leadership, having that connection with the staff, having that connection with players, and making more calls, as in when you're a captain at the club and you're just kind of wearing the band.
Absolutely. Now, you said that, being a captain, being a leader on and off the field. Let's talk about off the field. Was there any instances where, you had some teammates that was just struggling a bit? Like either whether they were freshmen, and you were like already a junior or senior. Talk to me about any experiences that you had that you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, it's interesting how the wheel kind of turns and it comes to a full circle, because me going as a freshman at Florida State, you want to play and you're like, why am I not playing? And then for me to be older at Oregon and see some of the freshmen going in with the same mindset I went in, I was able to help them.
How?
Just tell them like, hey, like, keep doing your best. Your time's gonna come. Everyone has that moment. Don't give up. Don't start blaming other people. Don't start blaming yourself. Like, relax, and the time's gonna come. I think a lot of times when things don't go our way, we start to find excuses. It's her fault. Why didn't the coach like me? This and that. It's not about that. It's keeping your mind straight and keep going, and your time's gonna come. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Any others?
You always have like that, the housekeeping stuff, the rules, especially here in NCAA. You have a lot of team rules and stuff like that. So just keeping everybody in check, remembering why we're still there, remembering education is important, but soccer is important as well.
Absolutely.
Also being 18 to 21, outside of soccer, the life is that's also important, but.
And making sure, you balance the college lifestyle with soccer pretty well.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, you are a kid. You need to have fun as well.
That is true. So, that is very true.
Yeah.
Moving from Oregon, what was next for you? What was the next?
I graduated early, and I went abroad to play pro.
Okay.
My coaches helped me. They signed me up with the agent. We did all that work. At that time, it was a bit more rare for players to go abroad. They kind of just waited for the draft, and if they didn't get drafted, it's like, all right, well, let me use my degree and kind of go into the working field. But they were really nice, and as well as my parents, to kind of push me to go abroad to Europe and play. So I got a contract with a club in Sweden.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my first step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was interesting. Again, different culture.
Yep.
Different experience, different type of play. Everything different. Yeah, it's just different. So I went there. I played there for 3 months. And then I decided I wanted to take a step higher. So I went to the Netherlands. That was my first actual pro contract. Because when I went to Sweden, I kind of went as an amateur player. And then I got myself a trial in the Netherlands 3 months later, right off the bat, and made the team. So
oh, wow.
Signed a pro contract.
Did you have any other national games or camps before? Like, apart from the U20s, before you left Oregon?
No. Yeah.
So you went to Sweden. How was the culture of Sweden, like off the field? Like, how is Sweden, the country?
Sweden's interesting. I was there in the summer, so we had the midsummer, which is like the huge celebration for them.
Yeah.
It was just different. The language barrier.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know what anyone's saying.
Yeah. Was there like a lot of people who spoke English, or not really?
Yeah, there were a lot more people that spoke English in Sweden than where I was now in Hungary.
Okay.
So that was really good. That kind of eased me into it. Food is different, much different.
Was it better, worse? You like the American food better?
I like my Jamaican food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and American food as well.
That's very fair. Yep.
So that was a lot different. I mean, they just like, they have the Swedish meatballs. Like that's their thing.
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then, but I made some amazing friends throughout. That's, if I look back at Sweden, I just think about friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was totally off the field. Loved it. Yeah, I made some amazing friends from actually another girl that was from Canada. And then 2 Romanians and then actual local, a Swedish player. So.
Talk to me about like the way you guys played and how was it different compared to what you were used to already, or if there was any.
The level, I don't even think I compare it to like college. Like it was below college, and that's why I was really surprised because the level was lower and it was being considered like pro.
Yeah.
And I think this just goes to show like how strong the US college system is.
Yep.
So that's where I was like, you know what, this is an amazing time for me as a person to explore. But if I want to play pro and keep going, I'm going to have to get out of here.
Yeah, interesting.
So I decided to leave.
Absolutely.
And then when I got to the Netherlands, that's when I was like, okay, this is professional soccer.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like this is great.
Yep.
And I have to say, Sweden, they have one of the top leagues. So the first and second league is amazing, very good. But I was in the third league, so that's where that's not a knock on the Swedish league because it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Just the one that I was in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So you moved to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
What's the Netherlands like? Like what how was that?
That
Going
was
into the Netherlands.
That was, I really enjoyed that as well. And that's where I could kind of feel myself like, okay, so I'm getting the European football vibes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, we played in a lot of big stadiums, so it really did feel professional. They're very big on the whole tactical side of the game. And then everybody, like, their first touches were amazing. Like, they're really, really technical.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's where I started to see the difference as far as, like, in the States, they're very big on, like, speed and agility and strength and this stuff.
Yep.
And then comes the soccer, like, the technical side of it. And whereas there, it's, like, the technical side comes first. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't do one fitness session.
Really?
Yeah, like, no sprinting, no on the line, like, training.
Never as no fitness, really?
Yeah, like... Whereas here in the States, you play, you train, and then you do your fitness. Like, you're on the line.
Yep.
The coach is yelling. Everyone's, like, dying. There, it was, like, we just have, like, soccer practice. And there was no sort of, like, get on the line, sprint, or any of that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so that, to me, was, like, really interesting. Not to say I was less fit. I was just as fit, but I got the fitness done through the trainings.
Yep. Interesting. Okay.
So it was interesting.
Give me, like, a day in the life of Marlo playing in the Netherlands.
Yeah, like that was more in the beginning of my pro career, so my schedule was a bit different than it is now. But I would wake up and then just kind of explore the city and then go to training in the evening. I don't know how I can't speak for all the men's side pros, but in that level, the women, most people are either going to school or they're working. They're working a 9 to 5.
Really?
So we all train in the evening. Yeah, so we train at like, what would it be, 6 or 8? 6 to 8 about then.
Wow.
Yeah.
So no morning trainings?
No. So after 6 months of me being there, they started to realize like, hey, like what are our foreigners doing all day long?
Yeah.
And they're like, let's start doing some morning trainings just with that group.
Yep. Oh,
so,
just with the foreigners group.
Yeah, so there was about four of us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me, a girl from England, States, and then one from Canada came. So they started doing, for us, like private sessions, extra ones.
What were some things that you guys did?
Just a lot of technical work, a lot of small-sided, like first touch, those, little sessions like that, individual sessions.
Yep.
And then we would have the team trainings later on the evening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was there any like big things that you learned during that period of your career that really stuck out with you?
Not so much. I would still say like I'm just like in kind of being young and enjoying living abroad and kind of seeing different cultures and how they play. If I look back now, maybe I could see how that was kind of the importance of learning a daily routine. Because having so much, coming out of the college system where you're going all day long to just like, I have free time and I have training for 2 hours. Like, how do I continue to grow as a person, continue to grow as a player, but also like, the hardest thing is we would go to the gym sometimes alone, but you don't want to do too much. Yeah. You still want to be fresh for training, right? Because that's why you're there. Yep. So finding that balance of not doing too little, but not doing too much. and then also like for you as a person as well, like
Right.
finding time to keep growing as a person
Yep.
off the
So
field.
that period, it was a lot of, personal development and like really taking charge of your routines.
Yeah,
I see. I
yeah.
see. How was the country?
The country is
The
lovely.
country. Yeah, talk about
Yeah,
the country.
the Netherlands. I just like in Europe in general. Like I just really love it.
More English speakers, right, over there?
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much, yeah, like a lot of them speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Amsterdam, one of my favorite
Oh,
cities.
yeah.
Yeah. I was in Zwolle, so it wasn't too far away. We just hop on the train.
Mm-hmm.
But Amsterdam was amazing. I went there for my birthday weekend, my 21st, wait, no, 21st, 23rd
Oh.
birthday with some teammates. And
Yep. How's the food?
it's good.
Yeah.
They really have interesting French fries.
Oh,
That's where I first learned French fries and mayonnaise.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, French fries and mayonnaise.
So no one here does it, but everybody over there, like, they love
It's
French
it's a
fries.
big thing, French fries and
Oh
mayonnaise.
yeah, yeah. Even like in other European countries, they like love French fries and mayonnaise, and I was like,
Really?
"What's this?" But actually, it's amazing.
I'm gonna have to try that actually.
Yeah, it's
I've
actually
never
really
had
good.
French fries and mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So during that time you were in Netherlands, was there any national team camps or call ups during that time?
So that's when I started back with, because there was a little bit of a pause with the reggae girls. That I believe had to do with Sadella Marley, the time where the federation and things like that, that stuff was going on. So there was a pause, and then I got called back into the Jamaica Federation when I was about to end my contract in Holland. So that was about May or June of 2017, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So that
Okay,
was
so
the
that's the
beginning.
timeline.
Yeah, the beginning of the World Cup qualifiers.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you left the Netherlands and you went to Holland?
Well, the Netherlands and Holland are the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So like sometimes the Netherlands and then Holland, it's like the States
Yeah.
and United States. Like it's just a different name type thing.
Okay.
Or
Okay,
America
I'm seeing
and
it.
United States.
Yep.
Netherlands, Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is tricky.
Yeah.
So I get you on
Interesting.
that. Yeah.
So, and how long did you spend in Holland?
I had a 1-year contract
1 year
there.
contract.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after, was there any big, like big things that stuck out? Whether it was the highs or lows, like big struggles, big, anything over there?
The cool thing was playing against Ajax.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So,
Yep.
like going to their facilities, playing there, I was like, wow, like so many great players came out of here. And,
Yep.
I think when you're in the States and you look at some European teams, you think of Ajax, Chelsea, Liverpool, like these stuff, and to be there was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So that was like, I always remember looking forward to those games.
Yep. From that time, what was the hardest team or the hardest game that you played at that time?
Definitely against Ajax.
I guess Ajax was the
Yeah,
hardest one.
yeah.
Well, what made it hard for you and for the team? If
I just remember, like, I'm a pretty like big girl. Like, I'm tall, but they're huge. Like, if you think like I'm big, they're like massive. So I would look up to
Really?
them. I'd be like, yeah. So they're just way bigger, way stronger
Oh,
than all of
gosh.
us. And so like, yeah,
Yeah.
physicality, like different level.
Okay.
Fast, everything.
after Holland, what was okay? So you're moving up to the national team for the 2018.
Yeah.
After you already finished your after your contract expired, how was that? Like, how was that for you?
So my contract expired that May.
Yep.
And then you have the whole normal professional player stress. What am I going to do next?
Yep.
My visa's finished. Am I going to be able to go back abroad?
Mm-hmm.
So then I got called into the Jamaica camp, and that's where it was going to be that whole summer, I believe, through October, were like qualifiers.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back home.
Yep.
I came back home. My parents were living in Fort Lauderdale at the time, and I was training with the individual trainer for that whole thing. So I wasn't connected to a club during the beginning stages of the World Cup
Okay.
qualifiers.
Wow.
to-
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're just staying fit.
Yeah, just staying fit,
and
yeah.
sharp.
Yeah, and then in and out of camps.
Yep,
Because we had
yep.
a lot at that time.
Those camps, it was just trainings and friendly games, or how
I
was
think-
that structured?
It's hard to remember, but I believe looking back, it was like the first few were just camps, and then we were into like games, like
Yep.
qualifying games.
Yep.
So I believe we probably had like one camp where it was just a camp and getting used to people, and then we were into it. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely. Into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
How was, after so long, it's been a couple years, right, since you
Yeah.
were last with the team, was there, a lot of new faces?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how was it getting reaccustomed to the team?
There were a lot of new faces, to be honest, and obviously, like, I mean, for me, they were there for a little bit, and then for the staff as well, and just to see how much they it grew from that time. Like, was amazing.
Oh, it grew.
Oh,
It grew.
yeah. I mean, it grew, and it's good. It grows even more after this part. So I mean, even just what it grew from that little time I was out
Yep.
of it was really like amazing to
Interesting.
see.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was the same, right? You came in, it was just all love from the staff, the players.
You could feel the competitive side of it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now
Yep.
it's getting real. Now you see like, wow, okay, this is gonna be competitive. This is gonna be professional. This is gonna be next level Jamaica type
Absolutely.
thing.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So
Time for the qualifiers now.
yeah.
Okay. Now it's serious business here. Talk to us about like how the structure is. Like how is the qualifiers, like how does that structure work?
Yeah, so you do the initial qualifiers, and then when you get out of like those stages, then you go into where you have the bigger teams, so U.S., Mexico, Panama,
Yep.
the bigger clubs, Canada,
Yep.
and then I believe it was like placing third into that tournament, then you get qualified for the World
really?
Cup. Yeah, it
So-
also depends on who's gonna, who's hosting tournaments. Do they have a
Yep.
direct in, things like that.
So it was playing against more like, other Caribbean countries first.
So like Haiti,
Yeah.
Cuba, Dom Rep, like these,
Right, right.
these countries.
And then if you get out of your group there, then
Yeah.
you play against the Canada's, the US, the Mexico's.
Yeah,
Right? Mexico's
yeah.
in there. Oh, I see. How did you guys do first with the other the other smaller Caribbean countries?
We did really well. I remember Haiti being a very hard game. We played Haiti at Haiti.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, that
Yeah.
was just, I think we got, was it tear gassed or something?
Oh.
Like something was going, I think there was like protests when we got there.
Yeah.
I remember coming off the bus and the coach yelling, get back on the bus, like
Oh,
cover your nose.
no.
It wasn't necessarily for us as a team, that
Yeah.
they didn't attack us, but like what was going on at the country at the time.
Yep,
And
yep.
then just like the stadium was totally full. You couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear, like,
Really?
you can hear our coaches when he yells, and I couldn't hear anything.
Anything. It was
Yeah,
full. The
it
stadium
was full. Yeah, and I mean for like a women's game, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
That's really, really good.
2018. So
Yep.
yeah, now it's getting normal to see full stadiums,
Yep.
but that was great. Great
Wow.
environment, lovely. Yeah, so that was
Getting
like
tear gas. How how was it? Okay, so walking off the bus, had to run back on the bus because there's chaos going on.
yeah, I think, but I don't know if that was right before the game or that was just like a training day or something.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, just the whole trip was like
Yeah.
an experience in itself.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then obviously, like the Haiti and Jamaica rival.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's this
Yeah.
this rivalry between Jamaica and Haiti, and so the Haitian national team, the women's national team, was good, huh?
Yeah,
Giving
they
you guys a run?
were pretty good at that point. Yeah.
Yep.
And then I remember we played like, I think it was Cuba, like we won like 9-0 or
Yeah,
something.
yep,
Like, so we
yep.
did
Oh,
really
wow.
well.
Yeah, you guys were killing it, huh?
Yeah, so we had a really, really good team.
Yep. And then you guys made it out that group.
Yeah.
Moving into the bigger groups, the bigger group. How was that? And it was all in the same qualifications, right?
Yeah. So that's where you see the whole, like what I was kind of speaking about before. You see the dynamic in the team where it's just like we all have one goal from the staff down.
Yep.
And you just feel it. You don't even have to say, and that's like the best feeling you get,
Yeah.
And so honestly, like when we stepped in, I like we knew we were going to qualify. There were so many hard teams in front of us. Like it was the grind, like it was real, all that
Yeah.
stuff. But we knew deep down that, we were going to make it.
Okay.
And I think that belief and just being all on the same page was like something I've, never experienced before. But going into that huge tournament. So now we're going into, the CONCACAF tournament, that qualification where we played the States. And then we played some other countries. But, yeah, it's just amazing. All around amazing experience.
Where did that belief come from?
I think it was such a unique group, very close, and everyone was just so confident in themselves.
Yep.
And then, to have like everyone believing not just in themselves, but who's to their left and who's to their right. So just that, like,
Really?
that it was,
Yep.
the definition of a team. Like you look up team, you see like that team in it. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, from the coaches down, it was
Yep.
great.
How was like the diversity of the players, right? Like was there like a lot of younger players, a lot of older players? How was?
Yeah, it's a pretty good mixture. We also had really good mixtures of like those playing abroad, those still in college, as well as those like locally based playing.
Oh, so you had all of
Yes,
that.
we had all of it.
Interesting.
And I mean, it's really rare to have a team with so much like diversity of age and where they're playing and stuff like that, and to still be still be that close. So
it sounds like a very good environment to be in, right? Especially if you're like one of those younger players. Either you like, especially if you're still playing domestically, right? You have those older experienced players coming in from the Netherlands, coming in from all those places, and then you have the college. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you guys walk into the game against the U.S.
Yeah.
How did that go?
So that was a really hard game.
Yep.
It didn't go as well as we wanted it. But I think just like with every great players and great teams, it's the upsets, and you just come back, you bounce back even harder. So, I mean, we looked at it that way.
Yep.
It didn't really shake us. I don't think we were too brought down from it. But
And you guys played against the U.S., and who do you guys play against next?
Panama, and then...
How was the Panama game?
That was tough. That was a team that's pretty equal to us as far as like what we could expect.
Okay.
But still wanting to get
the result.
Yeah, getting a result on that. And then obviously that's when we went to the final PK.
Oh.
That's where we had the PK that brought us to qualify.
Where
Dominique, she hit it.
Yeah.
Scored off of it, and then we all ran onto the field.
Yep.
That was just,
It was that moment.
That was that moment, That moment everyone talks about, and that, you see in movies, and you're like, oh, dang, like this is happening to me too.
Yep,
so,
yep.
Yeah, that was the moment.
Interesting. That was the moment. So after you guys, found out, you guys are qualified.
Yeah.
And, you guys are going to be playing in the World Cup. That must have been a big moment for everyone, especially you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Were you one of the captains at the time? Or
at the time, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a U20 captain in the youth level,
Yep.
and then at this point, it wasn't in that. But definitely one of the players that played a lot of playing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long after you guys qualified were you guys, getting ready for the World Cup? Was it like a gap between that time?
Yeah, I think it was probably like a year or something we had,
gap.
maybe. Because we qualified in 18 and then 2019 World Cup. So we had some time. And I remember that's when our coach was like, now the work starts. And so that was like, we were having amazing camp. We would be called into camps. We were having camps. He wanted everybody on pro teams. So then that's when I decided to go to Hungary, because obviously I had that moment where I was without a club going through qualifiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he's like, if you guys want to be on the roster, like you guys who are playing pro, like you got to get a contract. So at that point I had between Hungary, at that moment, I just wanted to, get playing, get pro, get back overseas. I was between Hungary, a team in Switzerland, and a team in Israel. So very interesting options.
Wait, a team in Israel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Wow.
So,
and you chose Hungary.
Yes, I chose Hungary.
Why did you chose Hungary?
Switzerland has a decent league, but I think just like I could see Hungary once again. I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't give it that much about Israel, just because with the league and things like that, like it wasn't really somewhere that I wouldn't see myself also being happy off the field. And I think that's very important,
Absolutely,
for a player.
It is. It definitely is.
So I definitely cut it down to staying in Europe. So I was between Hungary and Switzerland. And then Hungary offered me quite a better deal.
Yep.
And then also just somewhere I could see myself leading up to World Cup, you're going to need minutes. So I need to get into a place where I know I'm going to start right off the bat.
Absolutely. Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah. It was a very interesting decision, because people are like, well, why Hungary? But at that time, that's like the options I had.
Yeah.
And it worked out perfectly. Because I had to get minutes and stuff.
Yep.
So
a whole different country now again, different language, right?
Yeah. Yeah, different language.
New language. How was it, how was Hungary? How was it, playing with a team? How was that experience?
Hungary was great. Hungary, I would say, was kind of a combination of what I was looking at in the Netherlands and what I was looking at in Sweden. So having very lovely teammates, like great people, and then as well as being able to play a lot and getting minutes and getting better. So I was like, okay, like, interesting place. I never really thought I'd find myself here. Honestly, didn't even know where Hungary was before I decided to go. But it ended up being a very good for me at that time of what I needed to get out of it.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, yeah.
How was the players? Your teammates? It's pretty easy to blend in.
Yeah. No, not really. Definitely like stood out.
Yep.
definitely, you could tell I'm not Hungarian. So that was that. But they were like really cool. You know, they were really interested in where I came from. They wanted to learn a lot. They once again, found myself amazingly in a situation where they welcomed me with open arms. Wanted to be my friend off the field. Loved how I played on the field. So I was really, really happy in that time of, you know, where I was playing. So
Talk to me about the playing style. Was it, you know, something you were used to already? Like, was it anything different?
you know, they were kind of starting out in a way of they want to kind of set the way they want to play as a team. So they're still building that part of it.
Okay.
Then I came in and I felt similar to where I was in Oregon. As the coach was like, you know what? You do what you want to do. You set the tempo.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a lot of, you know, room to do what you want to do.
Yep.
And I also found myself as a captain of that team as well.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
Wow.
I was just hungry. The first few seasons was a very, very good place for me to grow as a player, as a leader, and kind of, you know, fit myself in
Absolutely.
there.
Very, very good choice then.
Yeah, that was good going into the World Cup qualifiers for me.
How was the league, the Hungarian league?
So I've been there for 5 years, and I've seen the league grow like tremendously. When I first went there, it wasn't very good, I'll be honest. Like, you had a big drop off from the top teams to the lower teams. We weren't really playing in stadiums, not getting much attention, not many foreigners, to where I have just finished my contract there. I'll be done in Hungary. Playing most every game in stadiums. Fans, amazing level. Players coming out of the top team, going to Inter Milan, going to bigger clubs, stuff like that. Yeah, so also to see that grow has been amazing.
Exactly.
As far as payments, huge increase. So it's been really nice to see that.
What were some factors that played into the growth of the league and the culture of soccer for the women's game and just the game in general in Hungary that you saw?
I think overall, just like everywhere in the world, women's sports is just killing it right now. And then as far as Hungary, they really, really appreciate soccer, and they put a lot of investment into it. That's one country where I've been like shocked with how I see like how professional they do things and like how much investment they do put into it. So I'd say that's amazing. And then just, you know, the men's side doing well as far as like they're now, you know, they're in the Euros and stuff like that. So they're doing really well. And then to see them also put that energy, time, money into the women's side, whereas you see all throughout the world now, a lot of people, a lot of countries and places are, what they're doing for the men's, they're starting to do for the women. So that's huge.
Absolutely. Wow. So now we're going into the World Cup now.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like, or did you feel like, you know, you guys were also representing the entire Caribbean? I feel like you guys were just, you know, you had the whole Caribbean on your backs at that time, right? So talk to me about, you know, leaving to go to, did you have to travel to Jamaica, and then you guys left from Jamaica to where was it being played again?
So it was in France.
In France, right.
And then we did, I think we went to Jamaica, and then we had a little tour in London, was it, in England? So we went over there. Yeah, so we had quite an interesting lead up going into the World Cup. But definitely had the whole Caribbean behind us, all of Jamaica as well. I remember we had a little celebration tour. So after we qualified, we went back. I think we went back in the winter. And
that's before you guys played.
Before we played. They treated us like queens.
Really?
You know, they had a bus. They had the tour go through the whole country. We were on top of the bus, just living it up.
No way.
Got the keys to a lot of cities, like parishes and stuff like that. And the support from the country was unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that the first time that the Jamaican national team made it to the World Cup, or the very first time?
So that was a historic women's
exactly.
side.
So you were just soaking it all in, and then the country felt proud.
Yeah, the men's made it back a while ago. But as far as the women's side, this was the historic qualification.
Absolutely.
So this was something.
Was it the same team that played the qualifications and made it, or was it like some changes?
There's a lot of changes.
A lot of changes.
Yeah, there were some changes. There's even a lot of changes from the qualification team to the World Cup team. And that whole, what was it, like the months and years or whatever that we led up to it, that was extremely stressful for everybody. But that was a must. You have to have that feeling, I would say, to keep everybody at the best of their ability.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't want to get anyone complacent. Yeah, you know.
Exactly. Okay.
So you went into camp, someone's coming for my spot. And if you didn't show up fit better than when you left the last camp, like, you know what I mean, you're going to get cut.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Interesting. Just like a lot of changes. And how much time did you guys have, you know, to train together before you guys had to start playing?
That's always what's hard, I think, with the national teams. Not just Jamaica, but I mean, with everywhere, you're just limited on time. You know, people are going to clubs, they're going to colleges, they're playing the systems that they want you to play, and then you come in for like a week, and it's like, okay, everybody just erase what you know. We're gonna do it this way.
Yep.
And yeah, but that's also the cool part of it. I mean, you see how special we are to be able to go to a place, play a certain system, have a certain role, come in, delete all that, and focus on what our goal is. You know?
Interesting.
So
it's
I
beautiful.
think, yeah, it's really cool.
We're in France now.
Yeah.
We're in France, we're going in for our first game. First of all, I want you to give me the routine. You know, like talk to me about the scenes. Like how was it? You know, so what? You guys stayed in a hotel?
Yeah.
Was it like a hotel where all of the players, you know, or you guys had your own?
Oh no, like the whole team was, you know.
The whole team was
they
there.
They set us up. FIFA set us up.
Yep.
We had private jets to go to different cities,
Oh my
like
gosh,
when we were
it's beautiful.
playing. Yeah,
Yep.
buses. I mean, you know, the buses that you would expect, the Jamaica written on the side, the flags.
Yep.
Like, I mean, just, you know, what you would expect. It was amazing, and top hotels.
Was there like other countries or like other teams at the same hotel as you guys, or not really? They spread them out a
I
little
think
bit.
they spread us out. The World Cup, obviously, it's in different cities, so different countries are playing in different places. So they're a bit spread out. I don't remember if we had any other countries in our hotel. Yeah, but
Okay. So what's the first game?
first game was against Brazil.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah, so it's like we qualified for World Cup. Now we're in it. We're playing
exactly,
Brazil.
just dropping you guys in the heat.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that?
That's where you're like, dang.
Yeah.
Like this was a different level.
Yep.
I feel like our goal was to do the best we can and enjoy the moment.
Okay. That's good.
So we've made the historic qualification.
Yep.
We're going to do the best we can.
Yep.
We're going to enjoy the moment, and we're going to make Jamaica proud.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's exactly what we did. We ended up losing 3-0. It was a very hard game, but, I mean, to just go back on the moment, stadium was full. I mean, walking out with the national anthem, looking up, like, to see, I think for me, what the biggest thing, it still gives me, like, goosebumps today, is to see, like, the FIFA World Cup, like, the flag.
Yep.
So you see Jamaica, FIFA World Cup,
Yep.
FIFA World Cup,
Yep.
Brazil. And it's like,
Oh my
wow,
gosh,
you know,
yeah,
like,
that's
this is
beautiful.
the, you know, this is
That's
what,
beautiful,
this
yep.
is everything you worked for.
Mhm.
So that was, like, really amazing,
Yep.
really amazing moment.
So, you know, unfortunate loss 3-0. So who was the captain at the time?
Oh, was it Kanya Plummer or Bunny?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it may have been Kanya. I think
Mhm.
it was Kanya.
How was, you know, the captains, the players, the staff, how did you guys, you know, come together after that loss, you know, to really just reset and, you know, to get you guys ready for the next game? How was that? How did you guys handle that?
It was a special group, so we handled it really well. I think we were able to set routines quite well. So going into the game, it was like nothing changed from going into a qualification game, even though it's on the World Cup stage and stuff like that. Besides the fact that make sure to enjoy the moment. After that loss, I believe it was Usain. Was it after that game? But you know, Bolt did a video call with us. He
Yep.
encouraged us.
Oh.
Usain Bolt. Yeah, I mean, when I say we had the whole country behind us, like we had the whole country behind us.
Oh, wow.
So to have Usain Bolt, like,
Yeah.
you know.
What did he say? What?
Oh gosh, it was just being such a moment. I don't remember. He was
Yeah.
just, you know, how proud he
Yep.
is, and you know, keep going and stuff like
Yep.
that.
After the
so-
first game? That's after the first
I don't
game?
remember when exactly it was. If it was
Right.
in France, or if it was right after we qualified, or before the qualification.
Oh, okay.
But just the fact to say that
Yep.
when I say everybody, like everybody was
Everybody
behind
rooting
us.
you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah.
So we regroup. Game number 2. Who was it with? Game number 2.
that was it Italy?
Italy.
Italy, yeah.
So first Brazil, now Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that game?
That one was a bit harder for us. I don't know. Did we lose 5-0 or something? Or what did we lose? Well, we lost, but I don't know what exactly the score was.
Yep.
I think that was a bit harder because second game of the World Cup, You have a loss behind you. You have another powerhouse team coming up. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we just did every game we did what we could do. So.
Man, yeah, they were just throwing some powerhouses behind you
Yeah.
guys. So okay, so Italy. So was there any differences you saw just in the playing styles of Brazil compared to Italy?
Yeah, I mean, Brazil being obviously like individually amazing, technically. Every player on the ball is just, Brazilian.
Yeah,
So you can
exactly.
imagine what it
Yep.
was.
Yep.
Italy, whereas they possessed very, very well tactical side of the game.
Very
so.
defensive. Not really.
Well, we were more defensive. I'd say
Yeah.
they swung the ball around a great amount of time. So just seeing that, but then as far as the bare minimum of every team, the fitness, the strength, the awareness off and on the ball, like everyone just has it to the top ability. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it pretty much just at that point comes down to how the team decides to play. Italy wants to play this way. Brazil wants to be more individual
Yep.
and go at players and stuff like that. So.
Yep. Yep. And then the third game. How was the third game?
Australia.
Australia. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so another big loss, but we can take a positive away from that because we were able to score the first goal, historic Jamaica goal in a World Cup.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Wow.
we'll be able to take that from it. So we do have a good positive coming out of that game.
After the World Cup, you guys, third game, and then you guys are done now. How was the experience looking back at it?
It was great. I mean, just being at a World Cup, but it was a bit hard because you want to soak in the moment, but then
Yeah.
you're still there for soccer.
Yeah.
Football, whatever you want to call it. So looking back, it's like I did the best I could to enjoy the moment, but it's not till now or later on that you really look back and you're
Yeah,
like, dang,
exactly,
like,
yeah.
that was huge.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think for me, the biggest moments when I could realize the size of what's going on was when the national anthem was playing. When I would look up at the flag, see all the flags and the people in
Yep.
the stands, and
Yep.
then after the tournament, looking back, and then being in the studio talking to you right now, then you
Absolutely.
you see the impact.
So you guys leave France, and then do you guys go as a team back to Jamaica?
No, so at that point, everyone continues to go on to their clubs.
Oh, so you guys
So-
just go to your clubs from that point.
Yeah, you have the pause, the international break, and then you're back training with your club team,
Yep.
your college team, or for some they finished their contracts before and then they were free. They could go to new teams and see what adventures wait for them.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So going back to Hungary now, like,
Yeah.
how was there anything your coaches told you, your teammates told you at that time? Like they felt proud of you, anything like that?
Yeah, they were very proud of me, especially the coaches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, to be honest, I felt more people behind me, obviously from Jamaica and the
Yep.
Caribbean.
Yep.
Whereas in Hungary and stuff like that, or just through other places, but
Mm-hmm.
that's expected, I think.
So after that World Cup, you spent about 2 years at Hungary.
So after that World Cup, I spent 3 years at
3
Hungary.
years.
Yeah,
Mhm.
one. So I get that question a lot, like, well, why did you stay there and stuff like that? And so I had to finish off my contract, and then COVID hit.
Oh.
And so that's where, like, a lot of people, you're in the situation of COVID's hitting. Do I go home and be without a team, without any sort of payment, without anything, and then kind of wait for the next opportunity? But I decided to stick it out and stay at Hungary because I would have to, be thankful that they decided, we're going to pay you through this. You don't come to training, you don't play any games, but we'll keep
Wow.
paying you.
Absolutely.
You keep your apartment, all that stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that was actually very nice of them. So I decided to stay there through COVID, and then I stayed another year. I stayed through COVID, and then I got a better club in that league. Who
The same league.
same league offered me a great contract.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They
And-
really loved you over there.
yeah. So found a good spot for myself. So
Mhm.
so that was a 2-year contract which they offered me. Much more professional. The most professional club
Oh,
I can
wow.
say I've played it so far.
Yep.
As far as trainings, what they expect from me as a player, expect from everybody else, training facilities, payments, management, everything.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
that was great.
Yep.
Which I just finished that contract now.
Oh,
so.
okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And then that was like a one season you spent with them? 2 seasons?
2 seasons.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
A 2-year contract
So
with them.
contract just ended, back in Florida, back in the US.
Yeah.
Any plans?
Yeah, just have to see what happens.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely excited for what's gonna happen, what's gonna come.
I'm guessing you can't share it too much.
Not too much. Yeah.
Had to try.
So yeah.
Okay. So, as we close, is there any advice that you have for female athletes, whether they want to go play in college, whether they want to go play pro either abroad or in the NWSL? Any advice you have for them?
I get that question a lot, and I always have the same advice: is just keep going. Set your goal, know what you want, and just keep going, and don't let anything stop
Absolutely.
you.
Yep.
I think when you write it down what you want and know in your head what you want, and just keep going for it. It's gonna happen. So
Absolutely.
there'll be ups and downs, but keep going.
Absolutely. Marlo, it was so fun having you on the podcast, sharing your experiences, and I really appreciate you trusting us to come and share your story. And I'm sure it's not over, and I can't wait to see, what's next for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
It's great.